The Polyend Mess is an insane value. But before I tell you why I think that is, today's patron shoutout goes to Jury. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So here on the channel, I've gone on record many times for the past 5 or 6 years. Oh God. Yeah, the channel's been around 6 years. What am I doing? Anyway, throughout the life of the channel, I've gone on record many times as saying that I treat the word budget, when it comes to gear anyway, to mean anything $400 or less. Side note, yes, I do understand that budget is completely subjective. That's just kind of the sweet spot that the channel has kind of found as a solid definition. However, every once in a while, a piece of gear comes along that's slightly over that $400 mark, but that just offers so much value that it almost becomes an honorary member of the budget electronic music gear community. A couple examples of that would be something like the Ableton Move here, or the Roland SP404 Mark II. A little behind the scenes, I'm actually filming this after I've already filmed the rest of this video, and the reason I'm doing that is because I can firmly say that I truly believe that the Polyend Mess also belongs in that category of gear. So this is the Polyend Mess. It is, in its simplest form, an effects pedal, a multi-effects pedal. That's pretty much it. It retails for $599 and you might be thinking, hey, that's pretty expensive for an effects pedal. I can get like an HX Stomp or the Zoya for that. And yeah, you'd be right. However, this has a little trick up its sleeve that I think makes it an invaluable tool in just about any musician's arsenal. Also, really quick, I will just say that Polyend did send this pedal to me for free. However, they're not paying me, and I was on a wait list for a very long time to get one, and I've been waiting for one of these for like 4 months now. So while they did send it to me, this is not sponsored in any way, and I've been so hyped. I've been so hyped to get this in front of me. So yeah, let's dive in. So it's an effects pedal, right? So we've got different presets here, just like you'd find on, most multi-effects pedals. You scroll through them right there with the preset knob. Every preset is composed of up to 4 different effects, and those effects range from anything like, just reverbs and delays, chorus, modulation stuff, all the way to like granulators and microloopers and pitch shifters. So some really cool effects in here, and that by itself is nice. They sound great. In fact, let's take the Ableton Move I mentioned earlier and run it into the Polyend Mess here. So here I've got this basic trip keys preset pulled up on the Move, and I went in and I turned off the chorus and the delay on it. So it's completely dry. Let's try it with this preset here on the Mess. Turn it on. It sounds lovely, right? Looks like we've got a granular burst effect on there, 3 granular bursts, and then a chamber reverb. That sounds great. We can switch to a different preset here. Let's just go to, how about moduverb? Sure. Also sounds lovely. Nothing wrong with that. But there's a ton of pedals that can do this kind of thing, right? It's just a multi-effect pedal. The difference, and what sets the Polyend Mess apart, are these 16 buttons right here. Because, friends, that is a step sequencer. And it is what transforms the Mess from a cool but expensive multi-effects pedal to something that I think is as versatile as the Korg NTS-1 in terms of, everyone just having one on their desk or on their pedal board. Because once you start introducing sequenced effects, all of a sudden you can do stuff live that you've really only been able to do with a DAW before. So I don't even know what this preset is. I've got it turned on. Let's just hit play. Now we can see the sequencers running. Let's play our notes again. So that was really subtle. We can see a couple of these effects do have some sequenced parameters, but it wasn't that crazy. What if we find something else here, though? Let's stop the sequencer. Let's get Bitmit. I'm just pulling these out. I'm not really sure what they are. Okay, sounds like we've got some crushing going on there. Yep, and a low pass. Let's turn on the sequencer. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, our effects are sequenced and we get this rhythmic element to not the sound itself, but to the effects that really, like I said, was quite unachievable before a pedal like this. Now, I do realize this is not going to be for everybody. I understand that. But for people who want this kind of freedom in their effects and how their effects are handled, this is going to be, dare I say it, a game changer. And of course, I'm just trying these effects right now with some keys, but let's switch to like a plucky bass. I just hear that going on in the background. It sounds so cool. Yeah, I could do this all day. And these are just the presets. I have barely gotten into what this pedal can actually do because if we scroll down, there's a ton of empty slots down here for a ton. Wow, I didn't realize how far down it went for us to make our own. You can do some insane stuff. Let's get some examples though on some drums really quick before we try to make our own preset. What is Glitchy Scape? Let's make a drum pattern. Okay, got the mix all the way to the right. That's cool. Let's play the sequencer. Like, holy crap. Are you hearing that? That's insanity. Let's take this a step further, though, because there's actually a bunch of stuff we can do with MIDI, too. However, I just want to sync the tempos up between these two devices so we can actually hear these sequences, or sorry, the sequenced effects at their intended tempos, you know, for the presets here. So let's plug in the Polyend Mess to the Ableton Move, and I should just be able to go into settings here, into MIDI. I did take a peek before I started filming. We'll go sync, we'll go USB, transport, and we'll go USB. Let's just play something in here. We can see our sequencer already started. Here we go. Yeah. Find better keys. just jamming now just for fun. I'm just I'm just going. That was crazy. That's just set up with sync between these two. We haven't even like done anything deliberate. That's just a random freaking preset. I didn't even leave the MIDI menu there. So let's try to make our own preset really quick here. And don't worry, we will be returning to the mess a lot here on the channel because I just think there's just like infinite possibilities with this thing and what you can do. It's kind of blowing my mind. Sure, preset 153. Let's pick our first effect here. Where do I do that? Right here. Okay. So we've got some panning effects, some shaper. Let's go to something that'll be really noticeable. Let's go to like pitch shifter. Found the pitch shifter. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to drums. I'm going to just whole new row here. Crank up the semitone. So we're 2 octaves up. And if you click on the knob, you get a second page. Ah, there we go. I want the effect mix to be all the way. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's leave it at 2 octaves up. We also can see we can set our sequence length here or our sequence speed, which is really cool. So what I want to do is set this to every 8th note, every other 8th note. So we'll go right there, and we'll go right here, and then right here. So I'm going to turn the effect off. Let's record a very basic loop here. Oh, I forgot to click. Oh well, I did okay. Okay, let's turn the effect on, and now hit play. I changed my mind. Let's put it on every single 8th note, actually. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play something in. Okay. Let's turn the effect on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back in here. And what's cool is you can hold the steps and edit them. And you can also adjust the probability with some electron type options in here as well. That's just our first effect. What if we go in here and pick a different effect? Sure, we'll pick a filter here. Whoop, wrong button, or wrong knob, this one. And you can set the sequence length and speed for every effect, too. Let's go down and put a reverb on here as well. Oh! That's so freaking cool, man. How about a microlooper? wrong button. We'll set it to the whole length, and then we'll set the chance to 30%. That's so cool. Yeah. Okay, so whoop, I have to stop the move too. That's just like the teeniest, tiniest little taste of, and I mean, we're just jamming with the Ableton Move here. I'm just running the output of the Move into the input of the Mess, the MIDI out of the Move via USB Type A into the Type C on the back here of the Mess. It also does have a TRS MIDI in and out. It's got a micro SD card so you can save presets. And it does have an expression pedal because there's also a macro that you can adjust, which is cool too. And you can set that to whatever you want, pretty much. The possibilities here are just absolutely insane for live performance. And that's because you can get so granular in your decisions and how you set these up. If we go into MIDI here, we can actually see that there's CC control as well. So you can control these parameters externally. You could sequence some of this stuff externally as well. You could tell this sequencer when to turn on with an external piece of gear. So you could have your live set and the Mess can just be part of that without really even having to touch it like a traditional pedal. You can pretty much automate it to have it come on and off, and then within the Mess itself have everything automated and set out exactly to how you want it to be. Or like I showed you, you can, edit steps with the play chance there and have it be a bit more random. So it's just phenomenal. And I didn't even go into any of the effects really. I think we listened to like 5 total. There's so much good stuff in here, and I'm definitely starting to think that this pedal is absolutely worth the asking price of $599 US. I can say I would do it. If Polyend had not sent me one, I would absolutely buy one of these. I can't wait to run every single piece of gear that I own through this thing, make my own presets, and see just how wild we can get. And this is absolutely going in my live rig as well. Just with these micro loopers alone, being able to sequence those for like transitions between pieces of music is going to be, awesome. And then factor in everything else that this can do. And yeah, I'm sold. I'm in. You did it, Polyend. This is freaking phenomenal. I'm probably going to film a bit right now for the beginning of the video because I truly think this is going to be like the SP404 and the Move, actually, one of those devices that it's more than the $400 US that I normally consider budget, but it just offers so much that I think it's going to be part of that club anyway. 2 thumbs up from me. This is phenomenal. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.